Welcome to another episode of Reasons Podcast viewers. Today we are going to bring to you a very special episode from the city of Varanasi. The city of Varanasi is also known as the Eternal City of India. It is also the spiritual capital of India. It was Mark Twain who once said that the city of Varanasi is older than history, it is older than tradition. The city of Varanasi is also known as the city of temples. There are close to 3,000 temples dotted across the landscape of this very city of Varanasi. In each lane of this ancient city is housed about one or two temples. And this very city has been the ultimate pilgrimage spot for Hindus for ages together. And no wonder it is also known as the sacred city for Hindus in India and all around the world as well. And this is one of the oldest living city in the world. Hindus believe that if one is graced to die on the land of Varanasi, one can attain salvation and freedom from the cycle of birth and rebirth. And in this very city is located one of the oldest universities called as Banaras Hindu University. It is in fact one of the largest residential university of Asia. So to help us understand more about this very city, we are going to actually talk to few eminent scholars from institutions right here in this very city of Varanasi to get to know more about the ethos, the pathos and the logos of its very significance. Right here we are in Banaras Hindu University, and we are honored and privileged to have with us in our midst Dr. A. Gangadharan. And he is a professor in the Department of History. And in fact, he's been teaching in this university for the past 20 to 21 years. We welcome you, sir, in our midst and especially in our podcast.
Oh, thank you. Nice talking to RTB viewers.
The first question that I have, if you can tell us some of the historical and cultural significance that the city of Varanasi has.
I think so. That's a very pertinent question when we talk about Varanasi, because the greatest pride that the city has its own historical antiquity and cultural self-sufficiency, which has been widely recognized, and that's one of the reasons why audience across the world visit this city irrespective of their faith and practice. Because it has been a city of multicultural faith. It is in a city of multi-religious popular traditions. That's one of the reasons why Varanasi has been a city. I mean, it's generally said as a city older than history and civilization. Why? Because the Indian cultural ethos, if you look at it, all of them somewhere down the line have branched out from this part of the country, having a long lineage of continuous patronage, be it Sanskrit language or for that matter Ayurveda, or for that matter even Indian Jyotish traditions and everything. So that is how the historical semblance of the city is widely recognized across the world, and people who come, they all very much get attracted to this sense of historical antiquity.
As you go around the city, I have noticed that there are different symbols that is being manifested in terms of the religious expression that is being seen, especially the belief with regard to the cremation ground. And then there is also this eternal flame that is being mentioned, especially alongside this. So if you can comment something on that as well.
I think so. One of the important things, as I said, Varanasi is being the city of light, or in fact, some even argue is a city of death and all the things. I mean, what I mainly emphasize is that Varanasi celebrates what is not being seen as something great. That is death as well as life. Death also equally enjoys great respect as much as life enjoys. I mean, what I mean to say is that cremation, that's one of the reasons why it becomes important. I mean, whether you talk about the Harichandra Ghat or whether you talk about Manikarnika Ghat, these are the two major places where near the ghats of the river where the dead body is being cremated. And cremation in the Indian context or Hindu traditional perspective is seen as a is a transition. It's not end in itself. In fact, when your body
Transition.
when your body is burned out, it is means you are going to take another form or you're going to come in another birth in a different way. So therefore, it's not an end in itself. It's a rather a culmination of one transitional process leading to another. So that's how this whole idea of transcendence of human existence makes important for Hindu tradition to celebrate. And that's the reason we can see in and around all these gods, or where there is cremation ground there, where you can see a lot of sadhus and others staying there and rather celebrating. In fact, the very idea of Nadraj, who has been dancing Shiva, who is dancing almost in the burial ground. So it means death is being in a way celebrated. I think that Jonathan Parry, the sociologist of Britain, have written an interesting book, Varanasi, the City of Death. I mean, here all through death gets transformed. So that is how life is being seen. All your burdens of the past is being finally flamed into death, and thereby you are relieved or you are absolutely released for a new way of life. So that is how life and existence is associated with dying, or through the process of cremation, the process is being further promoted for a change.
So in some sense, it is also said that this is also like attaining freedom from the entire cycles of birth and rebirth as well, right?
Attainment of relief from the cycle of birth is not. It is an expectation, and it may not be achieved immediately.
Okay.
It may go through number of births and processes. So therefore, that's one of the reasons. So that's why Hindu belief system always emphasizes that the ultimate nirvana is the breaking of the cycle. Getting out of the birth cycle. But that itself will take a long process, before which you may take as many number of births as the nearly dictates.
Okay, thank you. In your experience of all these religious learning, I would like to actually ask you this question. In what way do you think that there is a difference in terms of the Eastern way of meditation and the biblical way of meditation?
Yeah, I think so. That's a very relevant question, because we think meditation is only a kind of a Eastern contribution. But there is like a difference the way it has been understood. So before that, one important thing I may generally, in common men's point of view, so religion is after all not a kind of a set of ideas to believe. It's a way of how one understands the reality of life and the days to come. This life is not just only for survival. Even what may happen next few times or next few years, or what would impact their life in the days to come. Those kind of understanding each one of us has. Irrespective of our religious knowledge, we all think about our present, our future, for which some kind of a supreme power or some force at work. So this is the logic perhaps the entire Hindu tradition appreciates to hold. So that's one of the important things. And therefore what happens is, in subscribing to particular worldview, a particular practice, is a matter of one's own understanding to that point of time. So that's why, like say, in recent days in Varanasi, the idea of suffering, the idea of healing, the idea of miracle or divine intervention, all assumes a great significance. Not the way they have seen, but the way in which how their need is being met.
Okay.
So, say for an example, if you fall sick, you try to address through allopathic medicine. If does not, some other pluralistic models, like say Varanasi is a city of medical pluralism, in the sense you may go to allopathic doctor, you may be having medicine from an Ayurvedic store, and you may also consult a homeopathic specialist. Means what I'm trying to emphasize is the aim of the person is to get rid of from the sickness, not the true method of how sickness is being addressed. Same as the way the ordinary person's understanding is to address his immediate problem.
Okay.
So that's why faith becomes a pragmatic. This is something slightly looks very odd the way I say. I mean, it's pragmatic. You believe what is practicable. You don't believe what you don't know well. So that's why I'm saying is Newton understands the falling of an apple as a gravitational force. But for another person, it's not that. It's something else. So what I mean to say is that is understanding of faith is a matter of personal experience.
So are you saying that at the end of the day, it is based on one's personal needs that one approaches meditation especially? So basically, we all have one universal need.
Yeah. So, and how that need dictates you to act upon. That is not based on your intellectual ability. That based upon your rational understanding of that point of time. So that is why what I mean to say is that in the Hindu tradition, carefully if you look at it, there are two ways of meditational practice there. One, which is an esoteric I mean to say is that which involves a lot of rigorous exercise.
Okay.
That is also there. Like if you look at it, Kundalini, and if you see transcendental meditation and all, it's a very rigorous and which requires a lot of sadhana. That means you have to continuously practice it. But another set of beliefs. So the way you understand how God intervenes in your life, how your destiny helps you to overcome your current situations, or somebody who comes and helps where whom you never expected of. So such things makes an individual to address the way he or she sees it. So therefore, what I mean to say is that meditation in Indian context is a matter of how one understands. And it is also evolved over the period in different set of practice. We do with the different set of social conditioning. And social conditioning is one important thing that we need to recognize, which we may call it something to do with the caste formation, or you can call it something to do with the certain status. But what I particularly mean is that, so how you have been brought up or what you have been exposed matters most in terms of what you make as a choice.
Coming to a central aspect of what you've just mentioned, what comes to my mind as you were explaining is the idea of meditation, the difference between the Eastern and, let's say, a biblical way of meditation. In my understanding, is that one tries to actually, empty the mind as well. Getting rid of all the entanglements that this world has to offer in order to be focused more on the ultimate reality. But on the other hand, the biblical way would actually also encourage us to kind of, renewing of the mind. Rather than emptying of the mind. To me, that seems to be a very glaring difference, isn't it, between the two?
Yeah, absolutely. If you carefully look at it, the Eastern or the Christian tradition, the major difference is the Christian tradition directly address the question from transformation to renewal leading to absolute deliverance. But in the Hindu context, what is called the impact of the karma, somehow that you have to address to it. So that is where the question comes in the Hindu tradition. Meditation is a personal practice to overcome all that you have so far faced through in life. So therefore, you are responsible to rid yourself from the past, the impact of the past deeds. Means you have to address the past, without which you cannot look for future. But in the Christian understanding or the Christian meditations, you start in a blank slate, because it is seen as that it has been already forgiven or it has been washed off, and therefore you start in a new blank slate as the process of salvation begins and goes on.
Okay.
But in the Hindu tradition, you have to first work it out.
Okay.
And get rid of from that past deeds impact. And then you can start an account. So that is where the logic differs.
Okay.
And as a result of which, Hinduism goes through a little rigorous, hard process, whereas in the Judaic-Christian tradition, we see, there is an element of suffering is being mitigated with the divine intervention.
It's been very interesting to actually have this conversation with you, Professor, and it's been such a joy to be in your city here and to hear some of these insights from you. And so I would like to thank you for your valuable time that you've given us.
Okay, thanks a lot. It's a great joy indeed talking to or sharing some of my views to your viewers.
Yes.
I'm sure we would engage with this kind of exercise in due days to come.
Sure. Thank you. And to know more about RTB APAC, please log into our website, www.rtbapac.in, and please look at the link that is provided below to know more about our social media handles. And also, I would like to actually share that we do have RTB books as resources that can be made available if you are interested to dive a little bit deeper into some of these issues that we've just had in terms of our conversation. Please be in touch with us, and the contacts have been given down there below or even in our website. And please stay tuned for more such episodes in the days to come. Once again, thank you.